Hey everyone, Voltage here. Welcome to a Pokemon battle that I had at PAX Pokemon League against the leader, the Dragon Slayer. This is Caitlin. I'm using my Psychic team, and she's using Mono Fairy. So getting right into this, first things first, this was my first battle of the weekend. So naturally, I was a little rusty, but it's okay because we're gonna do just fine in this first fight. So she's gonna send out her Alolan Ninetales, and I'm gonna send out my Mega Metagross, or excuse me, just my regular Metagross, because I know that this thing is gonna be putting in a ton of work to start off the game. Obviously, it is kind of a win con, but I didn't really play it that way, and I probably should have, but whatever. So I'm gonna lead with a Bullet Punch, expecting the Veil to come out, which is pretty expected, given Ninetales being Ninetales, and that is going to knock out the Ninetales immediately, which does help significantly, given that that team is very obviously a hyper offense team. So she's going to send her Granbull, and maybe I should have paid attention while I was fighting that Clear Body doesn't lower my attack, but I was thinking that my attack had been lowered, so I end up switching out, probably not the best call, and I go into my Latios, or my Latios, however you want to pronounce it, and to avoid Earthquake or resist Fire Fang, whatever's coming out. But obviously, sending out a Dragon against a Fairy team isn't going to do very much, but this Latios is actually Electrium Z, and so that's what I end up going for on this next turn. The thing about that is it's not going to do a whole lot to this Granbull, unfortunately, which is disappointing because Latios normally would be really good for a nuke. Unfortunately, I definitely wasn't able to, I was never going to be able to set up with this thing, and as such, Latios is going to go for the Gigavolt Havoc on this Granbull, but it's not going to do enough to get the knockout, unfortunately, and this Granbull is just going to go right for a Play Rough and, well, pick off my Latios, just like that. So Latios is going to go down, and immediately I don't have a ton of momentum. I probably should have gone into Metagross here. I think that's what I do too. But at this point, you know, not all is lost, but so I go into my Metagross here, and I'm probably just going to go for a Bullet Punch again. That would be the smartest move to do. It's banded Metagross, so yeah, I definitely shouldn't have switched out and sacked my Latios just as is. I don't think the Granbull would have KO'd with Earthquake, but you can never really know. I haven't run any calcs or anything, so I guess we'll never know. So she's going to send in her Mawile, which does have Intimidate. Again, I didn't pay attention. I don't know why. That's just a flaw. Like, starting the weekend off wrong. I switched out again. I don't know why. Hard misplay on my part, because I go into Gardevoir here just to sack something at this point, and to get the Intimidate of my own, just because I was afraid of Mega Mawile. But another thing I didn't really pay attention to is the rules that Mega Mawile was banned at PAX South this year, which is nice, and a very nice change. So it doesn't really matter much. So I'm going to Mega Evolve my Guardy, and that's the thing. I was hoping to get off some clean hits here, just to sort of put some damage into here. Unfortunately, my Focus Blast misses. I'm not running HP Fire on this thing. I don't have Will-O-Wisp, so unfortunately, because Focus misses, you know, I have to sack that. So I send in my Scarf Delphox here. Again, I don't really... I do that to try to pull a double, hoping that the Mawile will switch out into something a bit more good for me, which does end up happening. Unfortunately for me, it's not going to be good because this Primarina is it's running Sparkling Aria, I think. Yeah, and frankly, I forgot about that Z move existing. And you get to see the Oceanic Operetta, excuse me, and you get to see this full Z move play out and how she Dragon Ball Z's this Metagross, and it's not pretty. So unfortunately, I am going to lose my Metagross here, which really kind of closes things up for me. Basically, once Metagross ends up going down to this Z move, there's really not much hope for me in terms of hitting things cleanly, and so I definitely misplayed this Metagross because I did go for the Meteor Match there. So I send in my Zam. It's not a Mega, obviously, since I had Guardy, and it's a Sash Zam, I believe. So I'm going to go for the Psychic here. It was basically my only option. you know, has a huge special defense, so I'm hoping maybe, you know, I can do some magic. But of course, the Moonblast gets the special attack drop too, so this fight is definitely not going my way, and at this point I kind of have to sack my Alakazam just because I know for a fact that I can't really do much else about this, so that's going to be really unfortunate for me. Yeah, and so Alakazam goes down. And so I do send in my Delphox again, hoping that Grass Knot will end up doing some damage or something along those lines. Since Earth Psychic, I'm down to 2 Mons. I'm basically going for broke here. I do get the knockout on Primarina though, which is obviously really good. And so she's going to send in her Hami, which is her Mimikyu, which is like, alright. It's pretty much over at this point, because I know for a fact that Mimikyu can basically get a free turn of whatever it wants with its disguise. I think it goes for Swords Dance here. Yeah. Yes, it goes for a Swords Dance here, and now it can basically just pick me off with Shadow Sneak. So, not the way I want to start the weekend, or for sure, because now it's just going to go for a Shadow Claw, because the leader, she was very good, knew that Delphox is not particularly good. I was initially using Victini in that slot, but I can't use both Victini and one other Mon. I can't remember the thing I was using, but Latios. I can't use Victini and Latios. Anyway, I sent in my Gothitelle, basically like my go for broke option Mon, but with Shadow Tag, but Gothitelle is basically going to go down here, and so that is going to be game. I do end up losing my first fight, which is a little embarrassing, but I bounce back. It's all good. So, you know. In the end, anyways, that was my fight with the Fairy Leader at PAX South. We do end up rematching her eventually, so that's pretty cool. Special attack drop too. Alright, hey everyone, Voltage again. Now we're fighting the crazy cat lady gym leader, Jean. So this is my second fight of the weekend, and I am doing some magic on the screen, as you can tell. But anyway, this is my second fight of the weekend after the unfortunate showing versus Caitlin, the fairy leader. We are now going to fight on the cat gym leader. She's got a Alolan Persian, Delcatty Liepard, 2 Mouse Sticks, and a Pyroar female. So obviously, this team isn't going to be as competitive. I was using, I believe it is, I guess we'll see in just a sec. She's going to send her Floofy Boop, the Alolan Persian, because they're all cats. I'm still using my water team. So in case it wasn't inherently clear, this water team is a rain team basically, and it just abuses rain and Swift Swim. So this team is pretty good, all things considered. So I'm going to lead with my Pelipper, and she's going to go right for a Toxic. I understand why, too, because Pelipper, the longer Pelipper stays alive, the more rain is out on the field, and so that's not good for her. So I'm going to go right for a U-turn just to get off that good, super effective chip damage, because I'm going to pivot. That's what makes Pelipper better than Politoed, by the way, for those curious. And I'm going to send in my Kingdra. This is Specs Kingdra, by the way. So I'm just going to go right for a Surf because I don't want to risk Hydro Pump this early in the game. I don't know what the Alolan Persian has, but I don't think anything could actually knock me out, whereas I could easily get the clean knockout with Surf. So I'm going to do just that. And she sends in her Precious, which is just a Delcatty, and if you know Delcatty, you know that it's basically like not even a fully evolved Mon, if you really think about it stat-wise. So I'm just going to go right for another Surf here, and we will get the knockout on this Delcatty as well. Poor cats. I do love cats. Cats are great. So she's going to send in her Fluffykins, which is the Liepard. I expected Thunderwave or Swagger or something. I don't even know if it can learn Thunderwave, but it goes for a Swagger here, which is like kind of to be expected since that's what Liepards are good at. And it's going to, you know, boost my attack, make me confused. It's a pretty good move on her part. But I do manage to connect with the Surf for a 3rd time in a row. My main goal here is I always am a little more conservative when I'm playing on cartridge. I don't know why. Like, I will go for Hydro Pumps on Showdown all the time, but when it comes to cartridge, I really just want to play conservative, and so I'll go for Surf a bunch. So she sends in her Meowstic male, and I'm like, okay, so this is just going to try to stop me from winning. And so it sets up a life screen, and I'm going to go for a Surf again, but unfortunately I do hit myself in confusion, so that's disappointing. So I do switch out my Kingdra here because I do know that the rain is going to end soon, and I'm going to lose my speed boosts. And it's a good thing too, because this Meowstic goes for a Thunder Wave on my Gyarados. And now this Gyarados it's basically DD or Flying Z Gyarados, which is cool. But it's going to go for another Reflect. It's DD, Waterfall, Earthquake, and Bounce with the Flynium. So it's always fun to pull out against grass teams. So I'm going to go for a Dragon Dance just, because boosting is important, boosting is good, and I'm winning 6-3 with very good... I have a ton of momentum at my back right now, despite the fact that I'm paralyzed and there are screens up. So I'm just going to go for another Dragon Dance here to get to the +2 attack and return to normal speed. My rain is gone, but I really don't consider that to be an issue. I am paralyzed. I was going to go for the Z move there, but since I got fully paralyzed, this Meowstic is going to get one more hit off on me. It's not going to do a ton though, so here we are. Anyway, so we're going to go for our nice up in the air, Papa, our JoJo pose, and basically go for a Supersonic Sky Strike. It's always fun to watch. Just goes here. Wait for it. Just goes up, and then it goes down. Oh, look at that! So good. Anyway, so there goes the Meowstic male. Pretty overkill if you ask me, and I got the Moxie boost too, so now I'm at +3 attack, +2 speed. I basically can sweep here in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. And so what I'm going to do now is basically just go for a Waterfall, click consistent moves that I know are going to knock things out accordingly. So that's pretty much it. And this Waterfall is going to basically do a ton to this Meowstic female, to the point where I didn't even bother taking notes on what was left. And the last Pokemon she has yet to send out is Pyroar, and or excuse me, Schmoopy-Poo. So it's pretty clean cut at this point. So I'm just gonna go for an Earthquake to shake it up. Felt different. I don't know. And that's gonna knock out that Pyroar, and we will take our first win, and we will get our first badge of the weekend. So that's really exciting. Yeah. So with that, we do have our first badge, and yeah, it's pretty good, I'll say.